Hey everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion Plays The Binding of Isaac. We're due for an Isaac run. This is the first episode I've recorded since I've been back in my own quote-unquote office. Oh, this is a totally seeded run from the NLSS. It's a shame because Little Gish was right in there, but that's okay. Better to know now than to find out later, as often happens. There we go. Taking the seed off, now things look totally different. Let's begin. You know, I really think there's two kinds of people in the world. Those who go left at the start of Isaac and those who go right. That's the first time that you know, false dichotomy has ever actually been 100% completely, literally, and technically fucking wrong, because there was an up direction there. But people who go up, that's like, you know, those are Ross Perot voters. There's a reference that probably even people my own age shouldn't get, but when I was growing up in Canada, where I still live, but it's important to make that distinction because of the next piece of information. I'll take Sacrificial Dagger. My grandparents had gray market American satellite before Canadian, like, satellite TV became a really big deal. So, I pretty much got all my news and information from, like, you know, 1994, well, I guess 1992 era, CNN, etc., etc. So there you go, there's your hard-hitting Ross Perot references. Ross Perot also semi-famously caricatured on Nickelodeon's smash hit Saturday Night Live for youngsters, All That, which starred Amanda Bynes, who apparently now has been diagnosed with some kind of mental illness. I've been noticing that as, you know, as the social media age kind of progresses further and further, I feel less comfortable making fun of people, to some extent, because I was making fun of Amanda Bynes a little bit behind her back. You know, we're not on speaking terms, even though What a Girl Wants, such a classic film. But I was like, hey, are you seeing this Amanda Bynes stuff? Like, she's getting a little loopy on Twitter, isn't that funny? And we all had a great laugh about it, and then like 3 months later, it's like, oh, she's been diagnosed with, like, you know, straight up manic depression or schizophrenia or something like that. I'm like, man, I'm an asshole. It's amazing how quickly that can go from amusing if you're an asshole to, like, seriously, like, I wish her the best of luck because that's, you know, problematic. It's the same that I see it on late night all the time. They'll be like, hey, isn't it crazy how crazy Lindsay Lohan is? Oh, by the way, she just drove drunk and, like, almost killed somebody. It's like, ooh, maybe should actually get help, man. I'm waiting for that big YouTuber scandal there. It'll probably be me. It'll be, you know, polite Canadian snaps and forgets to say I'm sorry after accidentally, you know, giving a $20 bill instead of a $10 bill at the grocery store. It'll be national news. It's really gonna fuck up my chances of getting an Order of Canada, which is like our version of being knighted, which is a joke, by the way. I mean, that is our version of being knighted, but I think the only knight that I'm likely to get is Brian McKnight, and I'm okay with that. Now, and by get, I mean buy his smash hit CD, which includes, you know, start back at 1. So I've taken a little bit of damage here. This is my first Isaac run in like 4 or 5 days here, so prepare yourself for a little bit of not so fantastic play, if I had to guess. Just to start with, until I get the rust out, you know? I've really got to start doing what, like, professional Counter-Strike players do, and I'll do, like, a little warm-up Isaac before I play the actual Isaac round. We could still get a deal with the devil. I don't really care what we get, to be honest with you. If we get Mom's Knife, if we get Brimstone, whatever. I'm gonna set the tone for today's recording session. Now, Sacrificial Dagger, not that good. Stem Cells, pretty darn good. But my most exciting kind of acquisition so far is going to be whatever is inside of this tinted rock. Because if it's a Spirit Heart, which it is, that gives us a much better chance of actually making this deal with the devil shenanigan work. Plenty of keys, plenty of bombs, so we're in a good position from that regard. Not too worried about Blighted Ovum, although I do have a little bit of an unfortunate history of Blighted Ovum doing, like, surprisingly high and surprisingly inconvenient amounts of damage to me. Largely as a result of that weird little floating spermatozoan there. That actually worked out totally fine. So I'm going to take Pageant Boy. I'm not saying this is controversial, but I think Pageant Boy is pretty good on the first couple of floors, especially if it gives you access to the shop and saves a reroll that you can use on something else, which obviously in our situation here, it totally does. It's starting to dawn on me, like as I record this, it's today's the 20th, and this episode's going to go up on the 21st. 21st is a Tuesday, which is effectively, not effectively, like literally 2 days till rebirth, or not 2 days, 2 weeks till rebirth. It's starting to dawn on me, as surreal as it may be, probably gonna end up having to pick that up, huh? That's sometime in the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna record the last, or at least, you know, the last for a while, episode of Vanilla Isaac. before Rebirth. That's very surreal for me. This thing has been a fixture in my life for the past over 3 years now, and it's getting ready to say goodbye a little bit. In a weird way, it's almost like kind of a college graduation, you know. It's been 3 years. That's a long time. It's flown by. I've had great times. I've learned a lot. It is, you know, I guess a bit telling that after effectively the amount of time it takes to earn a bachelor's degree, I still don't know everything there is to know about Isaac. But hey, just because you get a bachelor's degree in physics doesn't mean you're the greatest physicist of all time. It means you are pretty much legally able to be employed as a physicist, I guess. So I guess I don't feel too bad. So we're in a weird situation here. I think that I'm actually going to take Peeper's Eye, even though it's kind of terrible. It's just, basically I'm taking it for the familiar aspect of it, the damage that it does by bouncing around. And I'm going to take the range upgrade, and I'm going to reroll the coin purse. Even though the coin purse could be good, we have a serious deficit, or scarcity, to put it more accurately. A scarcity of, shop item pedestals on any run. You know, they're the scarcest kind of commodity. So we rerolled and got Nun's Habit instead. Now, it's possible that by rerolling the range upgrade, we would have gotten an HP upgrade, or by rerolling Peeper's Eye, maybe we would have gotten Quad Shot or something like that. But I'm happy with this, and I think you can understand why, you know. We're going down to the next floor with more HP than usual, some Spirit Hearts to probably give us a deal with the devil on the next floor, D6 plus Nun's Habit. Nothing else really truly spectacular, but this is enough to form the foundations of a really, really great run. So despite the fact that we didn't get a deal with the devil there, it's one of those situations, and they're not rare, but they're probably less common. They're not the most common outcome. We're in one of those situations where not getting a deal with the devil, oh my god, Tomo, you're not supposed to be up there. Not getting a deal with the devil hasn't put us too far behind the 8-ball. This is a cat that won't even jump up on, like, our dining room table, and it's up on top of this dresser now. Do I need to come up there and get you, buddy? Are you gonna be able to get down? He's looking around like he's gonna make a jump for it. All right, come here, buddy. You're out of your element there. This is baby's day out. Hello. Hi. You want to go up in the window? You can go up in the window. That's not the way. Oh, that hurt. That's not the way you do that. All right. Cats, man. You know, the expression, curiosity killed the cat, is not just an expression. They get into all sorts of stuff, you know? The other day I woke up, and it was like, you know, there's a little bit of a mess on the kitchen floor, so I went into the kitchen, and I saw that they had actually wrenched open the cupboard that contains onions. And then, of course, I go look it up, you know, are onions toxic to cats? And then it's like, yes, onions are very toxic to cats. Anything in the onion family, you know? Onions, garlic, shallots, etc., shallots, whatever you want to say there, Gordon Ramsay. Luckily, they actually did not consume any, but it's just like, can you stop being around the poison? I'm gonna totally take this. Just get away from the poison, and you'll, like, probably live a happier life. But I guess I was gonna say, like, what a stupid species, but I guess, like, human infants do the same thing sometimes. It's like, hey, you know, your throat is small enough that it can get clogged by a piece of freaking bubblegum. Where are you gonna go? You're gonna break into the bubblegum factory. Okay, cool. Alright, best of luck to you. Natural selection at work, I suppose. So, a lot of people, I kind of glossed over a very important part of the run there. A lot of people might wonder why I took the Parasite. Generally, I take the Parasite because it's kind of fun. Like, I think it's a cool tier effect. I like it. I don't know if it's... I'm gonna absolutely pick that up. I don't know if it's worth the heart, but I think it's better than not having it. So it's technology 2, which means we do still get to fire a little bit along with it. The mulligan is just a dream item for us now. And the other reason I took it is I wasn't gonna take 9 lives because we had too much HP to kind of start with that and feel comfortable with it. So why not take the Parasite? Although if I'd known that we'd get technology, I probably would not have technology 2, but anyway. Yeah, why not take the Parasite and get some precedent for a deal with the devil, just in case the next 2 items end up being, like, truly awful, you know? So, we have Blue Candle in here. I don't really relish the thought of buying that. I would love to buy the map, though. So with 3 bombs, we should be able to find our secret room. In fact, we did it with 1 bomb. And we didn't quite get enough money, which puts us in a bit of a problematic situation. I really doubt we're going to be able to get the money necessary to finish the job here, unfortunately. The way that we would be able to do it is via, in all likelihood, that... via this poop, potentially. Okay. There is a chance. I know that bombs make it so you can't get consumables out of the poop anymore, like if you have Epic Fetus, for example, but I don't know if technology plays by the same rules. I'm clearly hoping it doesn't. And we got one more left. We will go into our curse room, even if the money situation doesn't work out for us, which it's looking likely that it won't. And we'll get another reroll. Plus, we'll get Guppy's Paw. Now I probably would have taken... I would have taken 9 lives, so this is okay, because we get Guppy's Paw, then for free, basically, we can come back in here, reroll that and get Common Cold, which is a pretty good drop for us, I'd say. So we lost a little bit of HP in the process there, and our floor definitely looks substantially different now than it did when we first came down, but hey, or our run looks different than when we first came down, I should say, but still, I'm excited, and we have confirmed something that I was actually curious about right away. And we'll come back to this later as like a reroll engine. But yeah, we've confirmed something that I was thinking about, just as soon as we picked up Common Cold, which is, does the laser beam carry the ability to poison enemies, or is it just the tears? And the laser beam does indeed seem to carry that ability. I'm wary about feeling too assured about that right off the bat. Of course, we could have a blood bank, which would mean that Book of Shadows could be valuable, but I'm gonna ignore that for now. Maybe greed? I was kind of hoping that we get greed. There you go, you got proof that, that was bad. You got proof that the technology laser beam does indeed carry the, you know, virulence. That is such awful damage. I feel compelled to apologize for that damage. That's how bad that was. So obviously we're very much looking to stack up some HP here. We can win this run without getting much more in the way of HP. It's extraordinarily unlikely, but stranger things have happened. Since we're kind of in a reroll engine type area anyway, you know, we want to get as many rerolls on our item room as possible. I say we go through with our mob trap room. I mean, I feel like a little bit of a broken record, but we need what we need on every Isaac run where we've taken Deal with the Devil meta. HP. We don't necessarily need more damage, though it wouldn't hurt. Like, we're doing not the best individual tier damage, but in a DPS context, we're doing very well, and the ability to hit multiple enemies at the same time is very worthwhile. Range downgrade as far as pills go doesn't matter to me at all. It matters to me a little bit. It's not fair to say at all, but it's not a very pressing concern for us. We'll be probably coming across our... Well, you know what? Let's try this out. I was hoping that would work out a little bit better than it did, obviously, but still, that's fine. Aw, you freaking... Let's get rid of these flies. I do want to trade a bomb for 6 cents, because that's pretty much just a guaranteed half-decent secret room. I am going to go just fight the boss instead of using our reroll right away. This is a perfect boss for us. We have basically piercing shots and also very high damage. For a boss, relative to a boss that has like no HP at least. Give me 9 lives again. Now I would absolutely take 9 lives. And becoming Guppy on this run would be sweet. Guppy plus Technology 2 is just kind of your classic trade. I will take our HP, or Mulligan. I would be happy with Mulligan too. I guess we have to take Guppy's Tail, and I'll try the reroll here. You know, there's something tempting about that, but I'm going to say no for now. So now we just need Guppy's Head or Guppy's, well, 9 lives, which is a conceivable get for us, I'd say. But we're still in a problematic situation, gotta live long enough to get them. I would say our chances of getting those items are probably above 50%, and honestly, I think our chances of winning... Really, none of them died? I'm gonna wait for Peeper's Eye to do a little crowd control here. I think our chances of getting a win even without becoming Guppy are also fairly okay. Oh, come on. These shots are not gonna just whiff forever. I really don't feel comfortable moving, though. I probably could, but I really don't wanna. There we go. With the champions dead, I'm a little bit less perturbed, shall we say. Really, really have to be protective of our HP, because as comfortable as I am on the catacombs, if we end up on Necropolis, things could look a whole heck of a lot different. So we don't have another reroll to use on the magnet. Do we just end up taking the magnet, then? That's a good question. We know our secret room won't be there. I could hurt myself a little bit and reroll the magnet, or I could just not take the magnet, but I think taking the magnet is the smart call. I didn't mean to... I would have rather just walked into that, let's put it that way. You know what? I'm gonna live dangerously. We're gonna put a bomb down here. Should have just walked into the fire, I'm aware. Okay, I'm happy with this. We traded a Spirit Heart for a 1-up, which I think is a pretty okay trade. As a result of getting the magnet is almost like picking up, I don't know, it'll probably be worth like 12 cents on this floor alone. Because there's a lot of money hidden in some very kind of, you know, problematic situations for us. So instead of using our bomb to get that money, like we would have had to do earlier, at least, you know, if we're getting an item that's not that fantastic, we are getting some considerable payout out of it. Mind you, we don't really need it. Like, our money situation is probably already sorted, but whatever. It is what it is. We got 8 cents from this room alone, so that's fairly solid, and we'll be heading down to the next floor with a second chance at life. Not very much HP, and the fact that we're on Necropolis scares the bejesus out of me. I heard a rumor on the Binding of Isaac subreddit that in Rebirth, technology is going to be, well, technology and technology too, the technologies, I should say, is going to be spectral tears, basically. Hopefully that means it can still attack fire and poop relatively effectively, but yeah, it'll go over rocks, which is really just, like, sensical, I think. So I'm very much looking forward to that if it ends up being a reality. I think we're going to end up re-rolling Rainbow Baby. It's just not as bombastic an item as we would need. Right now, we can afford to be a little bit pickier. The money we're getting here is absurd. Money equals power would be an unbelievably good pickup for us. It usually is, you know, money trends upwards on most Isaac runs. In fact, the vast majority of Isaac runs, I'd say. You finish with a lot more money than you start with. We'll probably try to open that because I'm a little bit wary about our health right now. Oh, that's so good. Okay, so SMB Superfan is a great item, with the exception of the fact that it lowers our speed, but who gives an F, right? That's still amazing for us. That extra HP is gonna feel very, very nice on the skin. Now, that golden chest ended up paying for itself and then some, so I'm super stoked about that. I think I am gonna take an effort to go to our library and get a double item room if possible. We've already seen Book of Shadows, so that's one reason behind it. The other reason is we have a few spare keys and we've got Nun's Habit, so why not give it a try at least? Sometimes this ends up biting me in the ass, but I somewhat doubt that'll be the case here. I am gonna go through with that. First I'm gonna put a bomb down here. We don't need bombs for secret rooms because we already have 56 cents. That's the most likely payout from a secret room is some extra money, so who cares? At this point, at least. Polaroid. Not exceptionally useful right now. A prerequisite for later. You know, it's like knocking out your... If you're going to school in Ontario, it's like knocking out your, you know, grade 11 math class credit early. You know, you're not going to get any extra reward for it, but at the same time, hey, you don't have to worry about it for later, I guess. We'll move along here. Of all the... I don't know if they have this in parts of American schools, so, you know, this is something that I assume is a regional thing. When I was a kid, it always burned me up that to graduate from high school in the province that I grew up in, you needed to do 40 hours of community service, which, as an adult, is not really that big of a deal. You have 4 years, 10 hours a year of community service. As an adult, it's like, oh, there's like one work week spread over the course of 4 years, no big deal. But as a kid, you know, that's an effort because the way it's intended to work is you would go like volunteer at some kind of charitable organization. That's very admirable. I'm totally gonna take the Spirit Heart, by the way. So which means like introducing yourself, making inroads and stuff like that. It carries a lot of valuable skills and also selflessness, which I think is, you know, the kind of ideal citizen trait that you want in the people that come out of your school. Fair enough, but what ends up happening is that people just come up with these like really elaborate and cheap ways to cheat the system. We had at our school, they even like there was a that's so bad. There was an epidemic of people that basically were not going to graduate, even though they had really good grades because they didn't do their community service. So I can't verify whether or not this is how it went down. But as I was getting close to graduation, they did this promotion, which was a legitimate Canadian promotion called the 30-hour famine. For the 30-hour famine, basically, you didn't eat for 30 hours, and you did fundraising in advance of it to set up, or to give donations to a charitable, like, food organization for overseas. Anyway, so you did it at school, so it was basically like you'd have a big slumber party at school, and you wouldn't eat. I'm gonna get that map for sure. But in like the first 2 years of my high school career, if you did it, they only gave you like 10 hours because it was like, that's the maximum you can get. Let's be honest, you're just not eating. Like, you're not gonna actually starve to death over the course of this, so we'll give you 10 hours. That's not so bad. But then in like my final years of high school, they're like, okay, half of the kids doing this aren't going to graduate, so, you know, we're going to give you the full 30 hours for this. So all you need to do is find 10 hours elsewhere, which I kind of found great because it became less like, hey, do a selfless thing for your community and you'll graduate, and became more. And I did this, so I'm guilty of this, but it was also like 16-year-old me, not 25-year-old me. Do as I say, not as I do, right? But it became like, okay, you didn't do your community hours, so here's your punishment. You're gonna starve for 30 hours. You can't eat for 30 hours, and if you make it out on the other side, then you can have your high school diploma. Hey, that's awesome. I found it funny how it kind of got twisted into that. But, you know, it was also an extremely convenient way to get a lot of community hours. What most people do is they're just like, my aunt runs a restaurant, and I came over and washed dishes for 15 minutes, and then she wrote 40 hours down on the page and signed it, so I don't feel that bad about it, I guess. So we're gonna get a Kuba meat here. I'm okay with this. I sincerely am. I hope we get to deal with the devil too, although I very much doubt it. Now this is where our SMB superfan Slow might come to bite us in the butt. Oh, thank you, Peeper's Eye. We are gonna blow this up. Oh, don't move the bomb, don't move the bomb. It moved it, but that's okay. So we're gonna not take those spirit hearts yet because I'm gonna hurt myself going into the curse room. We'll get a reroll that we can use to reroll the library, probably. Plus we have another room of combat just remaining. But anyway, yeah, I don't know if other schools have that like 40 hours requirement. I don't mean this as a way of villainizing those of you who found a way around the system, because I think forcing people to do community service is a little weird if they haven't been, you know, convicted of a crime. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is kudos to those of you who actually, like, made those inroads and did the volunteer work the way that, you know, the legislation had intended. I'm sure it's made you a more well-rounded individual, and you can sleep soundly at night knowing that you didn't pervert the system for your own selfish aims. We're not... Well, we are going to pick up that spirit heart. In the end, all we ended up losing there was half a spirit heart, so I don't feel that bad about it, but still. We could have not lost that half spirit heart, and that's really the root of, like, min-maxing in Isaac, isn't it? Well, we won, but we could have won better. Curse room didn't pan out in the Guppy-esque way that I was intending or hoping, but that's okay. Still a great run regardless. This should be our final reroll here, yeah. So we could hurt ourselves and get double item rooms out of this. So I'm gonna. We don't have any bombs or keys. Not that we would use keys to hurt ourselves. We don't have any bombs. So I'll just come back in here, and then we'll get these things to explode, and then we'll pop back out. This costs us half a spirit heart for one more reroll, which I think is acceptable. And then we'll be heading down to the next floor. Plus we have other red hearts that we can use to kind of get our HP back here. So maybe we'll do this a few times. Scapular is pretty good. Little Chad I don't think is. So we'll take Scapular. And then we'll come back through, and this will be our last one, if only because I'm getting annoyed with the fact that SMB Superfan has made us a little bit slower, which is making it a little bit more tedious for me to do this walk and talk here. Oh, you know what? We need to hurt ourselves again. We could probably generate another Spirit Heart just by hurting ourselves a little bit more via Scapular, but I'm not going to get too into that, you know, heavy shenanigan type stuff right away. I think we're just going to play it relatively cool here. I would prefer to play it relatively cool anyway. Yum Heart. And we'll pick it up. Relatively good item to keep with us later on, but for now, not so useful. Later on meaning, you know, if we find it on a floor where there's also a blood bank, then we can get rid of it for the D6 right at the end. So we'll have 2 Spirit Hearts going down the next floor. We've had 3 or 4 of the harder variant of floor in a row, so I would really be quite happy to see us have to deal with the depths instead of Necropolis, but, you know... Failure to plan is a plan to... I guess we could go back and reroll again, but I'll just save my reroll now because this is getting ridiculous. Failure to plan is a plan to fail. I plan to be okay even if we're on Necropolis. Let's put it that way. First, though, we're headed down to the next floor. It's the depths. I'm extremely thankful for that. Let's try to find some keys, shall we? I realize there was indeed a... That hurts real bad. There was indeed a... slot machine on the last floor that we could have used to maybe pursue that goal of getting keys or bombs, but I'm not overly perturbed by it one way or the other. I'm very surprised we didn't take damage there. I pretty much thought we were guaranteed to lose our Spirit Heart, either by those leapers or by the spike. That room is like It's one of those rooms where if there's two ways out. High damage or the ability to fly. If you have neither and you get out of that room without taking damage, you better thank, you know, whatever religious or secular, you know, higher power in the world you believe in. Because, for real, your ass got lucky. Now, inevitably, after saying the word religious and secular in a video, now I know that the comments section will end up being incredibly civil. Because if I had to guess, the atheism versus theism debate will probably be solved in the 1000th-ish episode comments, or the comments for the 1000th-ish episode of a largely unrelated to religion video game by people who have strong opinions about it. I'm a little frightened by the fact that I have taken so much damage on the depths, whereas on Necropolis I seem to be a little bit kind of more safe, weirdly enough, but hopefully this doesn't end up biting me in the ass. We're very unlikely to get to deal with the devil on this room anyway, on this floor anyway, I should say. By the way, you know, I do want to point out, because I feel bad sometimes when I crack a joke at the expense of commenters on YouTube. Because you're watching the video right now and you're a commenter on YouTube. I understand how it goes, right? Very few people... I don't think, anyway. This is my impression of it. I've been in this place before in my life where I would be like, you know, maybe a little bit younger, and I would see somebody who I thought for sure was wrong on the internet, just a stranger. And now as a 25-year-old, when I see someone that's, like, I think demonstrably wrong on the internet, if they're a stranger... Or even if I know them, because get ready for that shit when you get a little older and on Facebook, people are posting that shit up in your, you know, status updates all the time. People, you know, if you're like 16 to 20 years old right now, you probably think Facebook for the rest of your lives is just going to be your friends posting about, like, how drunk they got at the party last weekend and trying to post these photos that prove they had this, like, stellar celebrity lifestyle. No, no, no. Eventually those people are going to start having babies, and then they're going to be posting, like... Hey, if 100 people thumbs this up, Jesus Christ will, you know, give me a second schlong or something like that. But, yeah, you know, now when I'm an adult and I see people that, I don't want to say wrong, but people I disagree with on the internet, I just kind of, like, you know, chuckle a little bit to myself, shake my head and go like, oh, that's so Daryl, you know, that's such a Daryl thing. But, when I was a little bit younger and had a little bit more spare time, what am I going to do here? I don't feel great about that. I guess we'll go to our curse room. Oh man, we don't have a library either. That hurts kind of badly. But yeah, I would see someone that's wrong on the internet and I'm like, no, no, no. You don't understand, I'm right, and I can prove that I'm right, so I need to yell at them, like right now. And I don't think that's the proper course of action, but I'm just saying that I don't mean to shit talk you if you're watching this and you leave comments and occasionally end up getting in comment arguments, because I have been there. I mean that sincerely. I've been there, man. What I am saying, though, is that as an outsider, it can be a little funny to see, like, I'm gonna find, I'm really interested in, examining a little bit more about the secular versus religious debate. Where should I go? I'm thinking that, you know, this might be a surprise, but where I saw the most heated and insightful commentary was in the comments for the Knack's #1 hit single from 1979, My Sharona. You know, there's some really interesting and insightful things there that, I think the mainstream media is just not picking up on, you know? I've said this before in episodes, specifically Isaac episodes, because they end up being the most random. But it's like, you know, you know your audience, man. It's the #1 rule of comedy. It's like, if you're one person and you've got something that you want to protest, and you bring it up to other people, and they don't want to, like, stand out on the street with you with a sign, and you end up being, like, by yourself out on the street, and you're like, you know, Ebola is sent by Justin Bieber to kill us, and you're like, I made all these flyers. That's legit, right? You gotta... That says a lot about the cause, I'd say. It's the same thing if you're arguing in, you know, a Girls' Generation video about... Oh, now, of course, we get... the pill might be able to teleport us, though. Or the lover. No. Clearly not. But anyway, if you... where you're arguing sends a lot of a message about whether or not you should be arguing in the first place, I think. YouTube comments are the place. You'd shit-talk me for not min-maxing an Isaac. We're gonna have to go down to the next floor, by the way. We can't get out of here. Shit-talk me for not min-maxing in the Binding of Isaac. That is the appropriate venue. This is the appropriate venue, I should say. But when it comes to, like, Henry Kissinger's foreign policy, man, go to school or something. If you got a passion for it, you know, take it to the next level. Take it to its logical conclusion. Don't waste your time arguing with ding-dongs in the YouTube comments. Become like a political scientist or something like that. Or just, you know, I don't know, live your life. I don't get it. But I've been there. Like I said, I used to argue a lot on the internet. I think that's something that, you know, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I'm borderline part of the first generation that grew up on the internet. And I mean that sincerely. Oh man, I really hope that was a library. So I got access to the internet for the first time when I was like 9. And I'm not sure, like I don't know enough, you know, young people to know if that's like I said that dripping with malice. Young people. No, but I don't know enough young people to know if that's like the internet was invented when you were 9. Okay, grandpa, but like yeah, I spent most of my formative years on the internet, you know. ICQ, MSN Messenger, stuff like that. But so like I think we're gonna see that as people that are my age start to, you know, grow up, as they have, you know, become like productive members of society. I used to argue a lot with people on the internet, and those people are all like, you know, starting to get positions of influence within the world now, and I just kind of look back and think like, man, I could have spent that time like not even like studying, because that's always like what you say is like, you know, if you'd spent all the time that you spent playing Dota learning a language, you could speak Farsi by now. And it's like, okay, that's cool. I don't really care about speaking Farsi, but man, if I had spent all that time that I spent arguing on the internet about dumb stuff, not even about relevant stuff, but if I had spent all that time just enjoying myself, or like, you know, trying to break out of my shell a little bit, I wonder what my life would look like now. Probably I wouldn't have the job that I'm having right now, so I mean, I'm very thankful for that, you know. Having opinions about video games is something that has trained me fairly well to have opinions about video games, I hope. But, it's just it's a shame, you know. They say youth is wasted on the young. I don't necessarily buy that, but, I would definitely love to have some of that, like, 13 to 17-year-old time back, where I was just arguing about stuff that I didn't, like, hear something in your history class, you know, during your, like, World War II unit, and then start arguing about World War II online. You don't know anything about World War II, 15-year-old Ryan. You just know what the history textbook said, and then the fraction of that you remembered. Like, wasn't even fought on your home soil, dog. Trying to tell, you know, like, Belgian people how World War II actually was. Anyway, long story short, I don't know what the moral of that story is, but I think where I was trying to go with that was know your audience, you know? If you're arguing, you know, in a debate on a scholarly stage or something like that, it's a lot easier to take your opinion seriously and consider you, just by default, almost a learned source of information than it is in a YouTube comment. So if you're truly passionate about what you're arguing about in these YouTube comments, I strongly encourage you to take that, like I said, to its logical conclusion, and, you know, pursue a degree or some kind of higher education in it, or at least like a club or something. Anyway, long story short, video games, right? Yeah. I hope you enjoy these tangents though, because you're gonna miss them a little bit when Rebirth first comes out, I think. It's gonna kill me going in there, so I guess we'll just, you know, try to swing this right now. I'm gonna use the devil card, because I really want to get a deal with the devil here, so that's why I'm gonna dodge directly into that shot. Yeah, that was really smart of me. So this is HP up. That's what I was hoping for, because this does now allow us to do this, and it fucking worked. So that's a surprise. A great surprise, but a surprise nonetheless. Now we're Guppy. That's probably a win sorted out for us. And we didn't really deserve it. But yeah, you're probably gonna miss these tangents if you like them anyway. You're gonna miss them a little bit when Rebirth comes out, because for the first lots of episodes, I'm gonna be spending most of my time being like, what the heck does this item do? I think it does this. You know, fast forward to 30 minutes later, I'm wrong. Okay, rinse and repeat a few hundred times. Guppy plus technology is an extraordinarily powerful combination. I'm extraordinarily powerful now. I like saying those words. It's like my personal mantra. It makes me believe it in real life. We're going to explore, hopefully, all of the terminals on this floor, because I would love to get to the library, if possible. Despite believing and being very, very powerful on this run, we're still weak in the HP context. So if we could find a way to stack up some more HP, that would be lovely. And it could happen via a library. Seems like that's where it happens a lot. We do have the scapular, so if I can actually, like, you know, pay a little bit of attention and get ourselves to a... Oh, that's huge. If I could pay a little more attention and get ourselves to a half-heart interval and stay there consistently, that would actually give us a little bit more survivability. I think PhD is worth taking. it's on the borderline of not being worth taking because I don't think we're going to get that many more pills, but it's nice to know that if we pick up a pill, not only will it be good, but we can also identify it if we want to, if we just wait like a minute. So, yeah, I think that's why that's important, because who knows if we'll get like a full health pill at like the perfect moment. We wouldn't know if it was a full health pill if we didn't have the PhD. So, you know, knowing is half the battle. We just won half the battle there. Who knows about the war, though? See, there's a new pill right there. It's a speed upgrade. We'll take it. I think that was a new pill anyway. Every key is pretty important at this point. I will go to the secret room. I was just kind of hoping to suss out the rest of this floor first. And we've largely done that, but considering how strong we appear to be at taking out all the enemies that we faced so far, I'm going to try to maybe get as many rerolls as we can to get a valuable payout. Oh, this is, yeah, just stay the F away for now. To get a valuable payout from that, well, what is now a double item room anyway. Okay. We'll reroll Unicorn Horn. We want, like, raw liver. That's Bob's rotten head. It's straight up terrible. But I think the secret room is almost a little bit more prudent. We could get Pyro, which would be fine. We could get Dad's Key, which would be really bad. But I think there's a good enough chance of us getting raw liver that we gotta take it. Now, that Demon Judgment there is extraordinarily interesting. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, though. For now, I don't have the HP to feel comfortable playing that, even though it would be a sweet reroll engine. But if we get HP dropping, I would love to. The only question is whether or not we'll get that HP, because it looks like I'd have to open Golden Chest to make it happen in the first place. Bob's Rotten Head will pick up, because it could show up later. Put it back down and reroll it into the Ankh, which I think at this point is a justifiable pickup. It's not raw liver, but it actually might be better than raw liver, since we have the Polaroid. I'm struggling to come up with a situation in which that would be the case, but I think it's not as big of a difference as you would be, perhaps, inclined to believe. I'm gonna caffeine up here a little bit. This delicious cup of legal narcotic has been sitting next to me the whole episode thus far, just cooling down. You little tease. So I think, oh, we do have a curse room. Honestly, I don't think the curse room is as tempting as it used to be. Now that we've actually completed our whole guppy, you know, track here, I think the only thing we really need to do is, oh, that's self-sacrifice, unfortunately. Ah, fuck it, you know, we'll play Demon Judgment twice because we have the HP necessary to at least absorb that much, and then we'll reroll this back here, and then we'll, you know, maybe finish off the floor, because I think we're getting to the point where that's more relevant. Harlequin Baby is an acceptable pickup. I don't care what you say. You know, we're running out of the ability to generate rerolls and still be alive on this floor, so I'm not going to pick up the full heart just in case we have the opportunity to get to a half heart, thus making Scapular actually a little bit useful. Emperor card. Oh, you're really going to make me go all the way back here and pick up the full heart? Yes, that's me talking to my own conscience, I guess. And with only 2 keys, I think the way that we're going to swing this is we're going to... Well, let's contrast here. Normally, I would go down to the next floor, use the Emperor card, immediately fight Isaac, and be on my way, right? I think we may try to do things the other way because our key situation is not ideal. We'll head down to the next floor. We'll fight our way to Isaac. We've got enough lives and HP that we can actually, like, do that without huge risk of the run catastrophically failing. Then when we get down to the chest, we can pop everything open and go fight Blue Baby immediately, which is not as fun because you get less rerolls on the chest. But at the same time, we're not at the... We're an extremely strong character right now, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're gonna win because our HP is not at that kind of like apocalyptic level where we don't need to worry about dying at all. So I'm mostly just concerned with actually turning this run into a win. And my secondary concern is in having that bombastic kind of, you know, super chest style. I don't think we can do anything with that deal with the devil here. Sure, I could use a bomb and then get to a half-heart interval. I think we'll have a better opportunity to do that while saving a bomb later. Plus, there could be a library available on this floor, and that would give us another opportunity to sink some rerolls into it. So I am ill-concerned about dying on this floor. Even if we do end up having to use even the Ankh, I think we're in an acceptable position for the... well, a position where I'm extremely confident that we're not gonna lose our final life here. We could put ourselves behind the 8-ball if we play really terribly, but that's fine. That is a curse room. Nice little dipsy doodle there. Also gave us access. I mean, we could play that. That would be an objectively good decision to play that, but I'm not gonna do it. Now, again, you can do some kind of cutesy stuff here. A big learning lesson for me, or something that I've been trying to learn over the course of, you know, my Isaac play is just because something's a cute strategy doesn't mean it's always the best strategy. Like, you know, sometimes things are clever but bad. Like, if we used our Emperor card here, sure, that would be clever. We wouldn't have to fight 3 bosses in order to, you know, get our HP upgrade. But at the same time, these 3 bosses are easier than almost any room we could probably hope to come across at this point in the game, so why waste our Emperor card skipping a room just to be cute that is already, like, easy, you know? Sometimes the smartest thing to do is to recognize that it's not always the smartest thing to do to make yourself look smart. I want to see that on a motivational poster. Sometimes the smartest thing to do is to recognize that it's not always the smartest thing to do to make yourself look smart. Genius. Truer words of wisdom have ne'er been spoken. Now, I'm a little scared about this. Ah, we got the magnet. Thank you, magnet. You've made my life a little bit easier here. Probably still could have made it through there, but I was a little concerned. It would have been worth it even if we took a hit once, but we are in the kind of position where we'd prefer not to take a hit if it's at all possible. Can't really re-roll those 6 pennies, so we'll just be content with where we're at and move along here. And at this point, considering we've explored so much of the cathedral, I think we might as well just see if there's a library. Even if we find our boss room, like, right away, we might as well just go the 1 extra room and see if there's a library at the bottom. Which, now we know there's not, because we went the wrong way here, and it contains nothing special. And that's how easy it was. We still didn't put ourselves very much in harm's way at all. So for all of this, we got 1, well, at least as of right now, we've only earned 1 freaking key. And some spirit hearts. Those spirit hearts are valuable. What is, it's the Emperor card. Well, we could use the death card against Isaac, but I don't think it matters that much. I would kill for, like, a couple more orbitals here, because this is gonna be a bit of a crapshoot, to be honest with you. We're shooting so frequently, which is great because we're generating, like, a ton of flies. But at the same time, you might be noticing that we're taking quite a lot of damage in the process as well. All of our spirit hearts are gone. And this actually might be a situation, I would so prefer to be done with this fight without using the Ankh, no question about it. But I can't imagine how much stronger we will be with the Ankh, because that permanent Polaroid invincibility will give us such a long period of free damage. It's one of those weird Isaac situations where I actually think the 3rd phase is going to be the easiest for us, because he's not shooting proportional to how much we shoot. Weird sentence to say, but it makes sense. Alright, we got an Eternal Heart out of it, which is... it could be worse. Let's just be honest. We'll be heading down to the next floor. We could use our Emperor card right away, if we deign that that is the right decision for us. Mr. Mega's a great pickup. Just gonna come in here, and I was hoping that we'd be able to use our D20 effectively. Hopefully we still can. Fuck. Well, we'll re-roll these 2. And we get Mom's tampon and bomb bag. I say we take Mom's tampon, we Emperor card, and we give it a try. I don't know if this is gonna work out for us, like, at all. But I'm gonna give it the old, you know, college attempt, as they say. That was really bad damage on my part. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work out for us. And then we'll respawn with full health, basically, so it's not an enormous loss that we ended up missing out on at that time. And then if we lose our full health, we'll respawn with the Ankh. We weren't very far away from getting the win on this one, though. This is like our test fight, you know? Is this ready for public consumption? No, not really. We got a little bit of work to do before it's ready for prime time. Mr. Mega, not quite as effective as I hoped for. That's not Mr. Mega's fault. I overestimated it. It is the same as it always is. You know, it's like ordering a Big Mac and expecting it to taste like, you know, like a McChicken. It's always been a Big Mac. We got poison bombs now. That makes them more effective. Plus, it gives us 5 bombs, which is actually very nice. Those could end up doing a lot of damage for us. That kind of sucks. It's nice being aware of where our boss is anyway. Like that, if nothing else, we basically use the Emperor card as kind of like a compass. A compass for the most valuable room anyway. So you're gonna be dead. We got another key, which is pretty much what we needed. And yeah, 10 extra bombs. I'll take the 10 bombs, re-roll the other 2. Doctor's Remote and Poop are god-awful. I mean, that should be pretty obvious. I didn't even mean to come to this room. That was an accident. But I'm glad I did, because it was really easy. So I think we're going to fight our boss. Might get one more reroll before we do it. But I think we're going to fight our... yeah, we'll go get one more reroll before... No. We'll fight our boss right now. And if it goes wrong, that's fine. I'm going to save our bombs. This is like another test fight, really. I'm going to save our bombs for the Ankh. We didn't really improve our damage very much, so the only way to make this fight better is going to be to improve our play, which is, you know, possible, but not necessarily the most likely. Yeah, I'm already borderline dead. And it's looking pretty dire, right? But I think that, sincerely, the Polaroid invincibility is going to save me so much. I don't know if Scapular actually works with the Polaroid. I go through that every time, but I think the Polaroid will swing this enough in our favor that it won't matter. Plus, we have more rerolls to come back there for. We don't need, like, we don't need a Hail Mary here. We basically just need to play it right. Yeah, I mean, that didn't turn out as well as I would have hoped for, but that's okay. So there's our 3 Spirit Hearts. We can only get hit twice. That's actually kind of dangerous, but here's going to be our major play. Skinny Odd Mushroom, I don't think either of these are that worth it. So we're going to go for it. It's possible that I might have thrown this just by not being thorough enough, but know that it wasn't laziness. It was actually, probably, ironically, me trying to be too clever by throwing lives away when they didn't need to be thrown. So, first time we get hit, basically, this is a rush to get him to the 3rd phase as quickly as possible, because in the first 2 phases, he shoots when he gets shot, which is really bad considering my rate of fire is crazy, which is one of the reasons I didn't pick up, Skinny Odd Mushroom there. In the 3rd phase, he doesn't. So I'm gonna try to, it's a little bit more of a, you know, dangerous situation than I had originally anticipated. That's why I'm trying to throw in these bombs a little bit more quickly. This is this is my pace now. Oh, we're fine. Okay, so I was right, but it did get a little dangerous. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the run. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.